The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my site, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you are encouraged to comment, whether you agree with what I write or not. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio. We're syndicated across the United States into 12 million additional households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. To my right, your left, Alan Jacey, our political correspondent, because the topic du jour is today's primaries, whether they matter or not, and who should run for vice president on both tickets. But before we get to that, two things. Alan and I were walking down the street today, and who did we see right outside the Paltalk offices being interviewed by MSNBC?
The Reverend Jesse Jackson.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Former candidate for President of the United States.
That's right. And I walked up to Reverend Jackson and, you introduce yourself to people. And I went up to him and I said, Reverend Jackson? He says, yes. And I introduced myself. I said, I am somebody. Thank you very much. Hey, in the United Kingdom today, before we get to the topic du jour, in the United Kingdom today, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, an open and free society, one would think. A 15-year-old has been charged because he used a 4-letter word. Now, I know this is a G-rated room. I don't want to violate any of our own rules, but I am going to show a little bit of living on the edge here, and I am going to say the 4-letter word that the kid used. The word is
Thank you.
cult. C-U-L-T. Cult. That's right. He referred to the Church of Scientology at a demonstration as hordes, a cult. And as a result of that, he's being prosecuted under the law in the United Kingdom. Now, I don't know, Alan, whether the Church of Scientology is a cult or not. I'm not an expert in these matters. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was to a similar demonstration outside the Church of Scientology here in New York City by Times Square. There were many people referring to the Church of Scientology as a cult.
Anybody get arrested?
Nobody got arrested for that. I went up and I spoke to the president of Scientology who was there, and he denied that it was a cult. I talked to the demonstrators. I talked to the Church of Scientology. Everybody had a good time. When it was all over, the demonstrators went home, and the members of the Church of Scientology went back inside their church, and everybody went on with their life. Why would the British government charge a youngster for calling the Church of Scientology a cult? I said in my blog today, GaryBaumgarten.com, and I've already received some comments saying that it was an overreach, that A, this is the death of free speech in the United Kingdom, and B, that it's very sad that people who fought in the last Great War for their freedoms against a Nazi regime that was trying to muzzle people if they did not follow the proper religious stance that the Fuhrer wanted them to follow, or didn't take the proper point of view that the Fuhrer wanted them to take, they were, many people killed for that purpose. The Brits, both the military and the civilians, stood up against that. They were attacked, they were bombed, but they stood up for freedom. Why would they give that freedom away?
That's a good question. I mean, again, to refer to the Church of Scientology for whatever you want, whatever some of us believe, whether it's an organized religion. I mean, they have a worldwide following. I mean, it's
the Supreme Court of the United States calls it a legitimate religion.
Again, that's the Supreme Court of the United States. I believe, and I think Sonny can help us out, but I believe the church is outlawed in Germany. Is that correct, Sonny? Can't hear you, son.
Yeah, Sonny, your microphone's not working.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm hoping you are able to hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Yes, that's right. The church in Germany, it's allowed. No, it's allowed in
It's
all
allowed.
Germany, but it's not accepted as a church, because due to my information I'm having, it was founded by Hubbard for tax reasons. This is due to the information of his son. Now, in Germany, they have to pay tax. They're just a community which has to pay, like a factory, industry. It's nothing else really, but they are allowed in the country, no problems. They have, and of course they are getting watched by our specific police in this country, for you never know what is happening, so they will check them.
The point is not whether they're a legitimate religion or a cult, Sonny and Alan. That's not the point. The point is that this kid referred to them as a cult, and he gets arrested for it.
But what the point actually I was just trying to make was that I believe that if it's in the certain parts of the EU, the United States of Europe, that the church is frowned upon in some countries, accepted in other countries, and tolerated in other countries. But at the same time, I mean, it's still, it has a worldwide following. Whether you agree with it or not, I mean, I think it's a lot of hooey, but that's my opinion, I could be wrong. I just don't remember the last time, the last alien I encountered was probably the guy who delivered my Chinese food the other night. So, I don't understand why that they would, again, to beat up on not beat up, but certainly to stop